Okay. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, September 6th meeting of the Monmouth City Council and ask Phyllis to call the roll, please.
Councilor Carey?
Here.
Councilor Johnson?
Here.
Councilor Milligan?
Here.
Councilor Schaefer?
I'm here.
Councilor Silbernagel?
Here.
Mayor Oberst?
Yes. All right, so flag salute, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okey-dokey, thank you. Consent calendar tonight consists of minutes from the council meeting of August 16th and the work session from the same evening. If I could have a motion to approve those two sets of minutes.
Move approval of both.
Second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll approve both of those. Mayor's report tonight. I mentioned to you last meeting, August 18th to 21st, we had a group here on campus called Healthy Democracy. And this was a group that carefully selected demographically representative of Oregon from across the state, 20 citizens who got together to hear the pros and cons of a ballot measure, and they proceed to work together to write statements for the voters pamphlet about how they feel about that particular ballot measure. This year it's Measure 97, which is the proposed corporate tax. And I want to say that it turned out a vote of 11 to 9, and I'm not going to say which way. I'll let you read it in the voters pamphlet when it comes out. But apparently a really, really good exercise. The thing that I want to mention to you, a lot of these folks came in on Wednesday night for the Thursday morning session, and they came to Music in the Park and spent time downtown and so on. And I was there to meet people coming in that Thursday morning and had a lot of, brief but good conversations with folks who were absolutely astounded with Monmouth. They had not been here before, and they loved campus, they loved our downtown, really liked what we're doing here. And it was really, satisfying to have out-of-towners come in and really see what we've been up to for the last decade or more, and how we've really been building out a really pleasant place to be in. So I just want to pass that on to you all as sort of a pat on the back for the hard work that council and staff has put in for the last 15, 20 years of getting our downtown in much better shape and so on. So it was a nice event all around. Participated in another meeting of the Distracted Driving Task Force legislative subcommittee and trying to pull together some proposed legislation. One of the things that came out was a legislator setting around a legislative concept that was far more draconian in its treatment of miscreants who were texting and driving than what we were proposing. So we had to spend some time around that, and it turns out some other states have gone that way and had to wind up backing off. So we'll see. I have another meeting of that coming up in a couple of weeks. And
Did you happen to have any Pokemon Go conversation during?
No, we did not. We did not. But I'm sure that's the new distraction. Absolutely. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was that Western Oregon University's football team went down to Sacramento State University, a Division I small college, but Division I program, and proceeded to beat them on their home field last Saturday. So great start to the football season for that bunch. And they have their first home game coming up this coming Saturday. So it might be a really good season to start going to Wolves games if you don't already. And that's all I have. Done with that. Council rep reports. Councilor Silbernagel.
Senior Advisory Board met on August 23rd. The Senior Center project here next door to us is, I think the words were rolling right along fine. They did decide to do a composition roof over the whole building, so that whole roof will be replaced with a composition roof. That does mean they'll be adding a support beam in the middle of the facility. There was also some discussion about when the sprinkler system goes in, they'll have some downtime, so the center will be closed, so they don't know when that is yet, or at least at that point in time on August 23rd, they didn't know the timing of that. All kinds of things going on as far as typical, things that they've got happening in that facility. They got a community resource fair that'll happen on October 18th from 1 to 4:30. They got a volunteer dessert. They'll actually happen here at Volunteer Hall on September 29th, 2 p.m. they're gonna have, Walmart's gonna come and do flu shots there at the center from 1 to 4 on September 23rd, and they said all insurance except Kaiser is accepted at that. They got a Medicare insurance presentation. It'll be happening on September 23rd at 10:30 a.m. And then they got the typical, travel type things that they're trying to do. They got one to the coast, they want to do Oregon Coast Rail riders and some stuff like that. Sounded kind of fun anyhow. And then they've got a WIU behavioral science night that they're co-sponsoring between psychology, gerontology, and the senior center, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. on November 2nd. That concludes my report.
Very good, thank you. Counselor Gary.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the MyNet Board of Directors met on September 1st. That was Thursday last. And, sort of a routine meeting, but there were some things that came out of it that were noteworthy and ought to be noted. Annually, we do elections, and as per the intergovernmental agreement, and Scott sort of is the president, although he sort of filled in the last little bit when we had some change in personnel. So Scott will be the president. Mike Lodge was elected our vice president. David Ritchie, secretary treasurer. So that's the sort of the board leadership. We're getting really good information from the Financial Advisory Committee. It's a very active group, interested group, and has a good relationship with staff. And they continue to report and report again that MyNet's financial position remains positive. We're not making a hell of a lot of money, but we're not, we're paying all the bills, and we're paying towards our, increasingly towards the debt service. So that continues to be a stable and improving situation. We did take a bit of a nose dive, not a nose dive, but a glide down in revenue for August. Students are gone. Expenses were down as well. So, because of the cost of services that we're providing. So, pretty much standard as it's been, not anything real earth-shattering there. We've been talking about, some new initiatives that MyNet is launching into. A couple of those involve possible contracts with governmental entities, and for all kinds of reasons, though any negotiations or discussions on that in terms of any data storage or anything of that nature is on hold until after the election. Depending on the makeup of the legislature, depending on the governor, a variety of other things that would influence that. So there's no sense in really running out too hard. There have been some conversations with, and I think this is public enough, with the city of Jefferson. There's an investor group that's interested in assisting with the infrastructure to get there, and Jefferson would be interested in MyNet being the sort of the management of that. So while it's not a huge deal, it would be an additional opportunity for revenue, and decisions have not been made on that yet, but there'll be a close look at the potential revenue juxtaposed to the expenses, the additional expenses, and personnel that would be ongoing. So we that keeps coming up, and we keep sort of talking about it, and I know everybody's anxious to get, okay, well, what is going to happen? Certainly, but it's a bit glacial, and again, because of the influence of the election, that's going to put us off until probably the first of the year in all likelihood. We have subscribers have been notified that we're sort of backing out of some of the deep promotions that didn't have a sunset clause on them, and so people were getting big deal to sign up, and that sort of continued. Those have been rolled back. They will still, strategically do promotional plans that will be attractive to new subscribers, but not perhaps the deep discount and not those that go on ad infinitum. So, and it doesn't appear that there's been very much fallout as a result of that.
John, any estimate on revenue increases because of all the sales that are ending? I mean, the discount prices that are ending?
Well, no, that's not, and because part of that's gonna be influenced, and it only went into effect September 1, isn't that correct, Scott? So it's a little early to tell.
Okay. Just wondered if there was a guess.
Yeah, and we don't know what people are gonna be backing, but just the scuttlebutt has been that it didn't seem to be, that it was gonna be that big of an issue. And, you'll have, some increased revenue, but you'll also have some people that are gonna, take their hat and go home, So it's a little hard to tell.
I hope we have some students signing up this month too.
Yeah, of course. One of the things that was encouraging to me, and that they've embarked into a new strategic plan, and staff is working on that. They're working, because a lot of it has to do with finances and so on, working closely with the finance committee. The board will have, our shot at it as well. But they've really given some good thought to that. They're trying to develop a corporate culture that's much healthier. They've got they've spent some time working on what and Cease used to talk about this, an elevator pitch. So when you talk about MyNet, you talk about the good things instead of bitching about it. You can still talk about things that need improvement, but you're not bitching about it. And this is targeted primarily at employees, at people, inside. There's a strong emphasis for ownership of the company by the people that work there. Strong ownership in the product that they put out, the services they put out. And, when I got assigned to this board, that's one of the things 2 years ago that I felt was lacking. It was just sort of a punch the time card and go on, and the cities have got our back, and, I don't get that. I don't get that sense. Not only from senior management, but from others, more mid-level managers and employees. So I think there's beginning to be a good positive feeling that's emerging, and I think that shows through in the rudimentary and early draft of their strategic plan. So it's encouraging. It's encouraging to see positive step going forward.
Good.
So that's it for me.
Okay.
I had a question regarding the Jefferson. I know you probably don't want to go too deep into it, but is it essentially just customer we'll be able to get new customers? Are we going to take service to them? Is that essentially what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So increasing the number of their customer
Right.
base. Yeah, okay, good.
I can't remember the number of addresses that they have there.
Yeah,
It's not huge.
I drive through there about it once a week. And it's,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
more customers. is
And
good.
then there's an investment group that, it would be a,
Another in.
yeah, kind of a partnership that would, and they're keen, they're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to make sure it works for us and investors as well, so.
And just one note on that system where it's a different angle, it's actually going to be wireless.
Right.
They've actually got something in place that we can essentially take over, and then we just integrate all them into our regular system, but you're not.
So it wouldn't be fiber to the house.
No, you're not doing all that, and so it's a nice area there, it's really cool, they've got basically the town in a bowl. You drop one tower up, one tower down, and boom, the whole town's covered.
It'd be fantastic.
It's just
There's
awesome. And
nothing-
it's just like made for it.
Yeah,
Just
there's
shoot it
nothing
in,
there.
you're good. Yeah.
Cool, very good.
Put it right on top of the water treatment facility.
So,
Yeah.
That huge thing out there.
There any community analysis? Steve?
I've got two. This Saturday
Uh-huh.
at 9 o'clock at Madrona Park is Community Service Day. And so from 9 until 12, there's going to be some weeding and pulling, and I don't know what all to do, but it's going to be at the east end of the park with the more natural area,
You said 9 on Saturday, right?
9 to noon.
And there's a tree planting too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then on September the 25th, there's a combination project between Monmouth Independence Chamber of Commerce and the WU Student Activities. That's a Pokemon Go activity, and it's designed to get people up and down Main Street into the businesses. So I'm not sure how they're playing the game, but it's a way to get people.
Gotta get new Pokestops in those businesses.
That's, I think, what they're working on between now and the 25th.
Right now, if you went out to the park, they're packed.
So, those are the two announcements that I've got.
Anybody else?
I had a question on the flu shots, that just insurance is covering those at the senior center, you said.
So, it's, anybody, I believe, can come to get their flu shot, and it's 9/23 from 1 to 4.
And if you have insurance
Other than, yeah, Kaiser's the only one they're not accepting, or
And if you're-
Kaiser's probably not supporting it.
And if you're uninsured, you can't go either, correct?
I bet if you pay cash
I
up front,
think you
they'll do
can.
that.
It's
They'll
Walmart.
stick you.
Okay,
It's
so my
Walmart
question was,
that's doing it.
does anybody know of a place that, in town that you can do that? Is the health center at the high school, is that somewhere you can do that? Does anybody know?
Buy more, if you're
Yeah,
not
it's
sure, you
buy
can
more,
buy
yeah.
more, I think.
Yeah, buy market
And
shots.
I'm pretty sure you could pay here.
Okay.
This one too.
The health center at the high school, I think, Steve would tell you that you have to be kind of qualified on that.
You do.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? And we're getting close to flu shot season. It got cold and rainy this week. Okay, any citizen comments tonight? And seeing none, we have the most amazing business agenda tonight. Motion to adjourn to the work session.
You're getting yelled at down here.
What's that?
Never mind.
City manager's report?
City manager report, I skipped the manager.
No, actually, you were crystal balling it, I don't have anything.
Had to steal it.
No, there's gotta be something.
No, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we do have an additional item for work session tonight, in addition to the one that showed up. We have some information coming from staff about the Willamette well field. I'm trying to get those agreements in place, and we don't have anything. Scott just mentioned this to me on the way in the door this evening, so we'll probably have some staff information to go with that. But being as we have no manager's report, and I think unless there are some council comments to go along it.
Well, I just wanted to say about music in the park and the activities this summer were pretty amazing.
Is that we are pretty amazing, or they were pretty amazing?
Both.
Okay.
In some of the volunteer work that I was doing, I got to interact with people from outside the community that had come here.
Uh-huh.
Other friends in the community had outside guests. And one of the most, I think, exciting comments that was made was a person was over from Bend, and they were kind of burnt out on what Bend is doing and how busy it's gotten. And her comment was, when she walked in the park and heard the music, was, "This is like Bend 20 years ago."
Okay.
So it was like,
Yeah.
we're moving in the right direction. People coming up from Corvallis and Albany that were just really, they were amazed at the amphitheater itself, and then the quality of music that we've got going. The combined activities of the splash play fountain with the art through the Ash Creek Art Center. So it was, this whole concert series this summer has been a huge outreach beyond what I think we realized.
Yeah.
And a lot of people seeing what we're changing and getting to look at the downtown for the first time as well.
When I heard one band make the comment of what you all have going on here is amazing. And so being very appreciative of the amphitheater and the crowd and everything else. And I heard that another one of our bands this summer from the Portland area said that we were a bigger crowd than they typically get in Portland. So, they appreciated the turnout in the community. So, there you go.
The other is that I noticed the other night as we were finishing the concert series was the grass is still there.
Yeah.
It survived.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's got a little fill-in to do here and there, but it's
Yeah,
amazing.
but
what
the
good
grass
shape
survived.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
With all the people that survived.
And I would like to piggyback on that. I always rave about the music in the park, but we've been getting out and about this summer, walking in with the kids, and it's amazing how awesome that park is. But we have 9 other parks that are in just as good a shape,
Right.
even better than they were just last summer. From the new water fountains for yourself, your kids, and your dogs, almost at all the parks now, to the barbecue spots, to the green grass everywhere, to the awesome playground equipment. Every park you go to, even the secret park over on the other side of town that has no signs and it's landlocked.
It's in the middle of a block.
It's in the middle of a block. It's probably the best, one of the better parks out there, because I don't think anyone knows it's there, but it's
How
really.
they do, Jesse?
Yeah, I hope so. It's amazing how little I see of staff out there, yet they are just always in perfect shape. I never have ever had my kids kick a rock in the grass, let alone a piece of garbage, and I'm looking for that. So kudos to the staff and all your guys out there. All the parks are fantastic, and especially the one downtown. The crowds were drawing. Or I had my parents here, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to McCall, Idaho, but it's kind of a bend atmosphere. And that's the first thing that came out of my mouth. This reminds me of McCall and that scene over there. And we don't get this except for one night a year at Hot August Nights in Lewiston, Idaho, a town of like 40,000 people. So, yeah, they were pretty, and the music wasn't even part of it that they liked, but just the atmosphere. And the beer garden, my dad sells beer. He was just blown away that we could have a little tiny white picket fence beer garden and not a 8-foot tall blacked out fence surrounding the whole place, because that's what they have to do over there. So he thought that was just the neatest thing. So kudos to staff and all the people that put in such hard work, because we just get to enjoy it. So
Good, Jesse. Thanks. Anyone else? Okay, so I'll ask again, motion to adjourn to work session.
So moved.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And do we want to just sit here, or do we want to gather around the table in the back? Phyllis, do you care?
It's up to you.
Scott?
It's flexible, otherwise just 2 shorter items, so.
Okay, so why don't we just stay put?
If you want your 5-minute cookie break.
Let's take our 5-minute cookie break.